This is Yerushalmi Peah Daf Chav Zayin, at the Arts Go Osbar edition, and we got down yesterday on Chav Zayin and Aleph to um, Chetzio Yach Chetzio Yavesh, and that is in the Vilna on Daf uh, you test Yud Daled on the base, the second to last line. Chetzio Chatzin in the article it's Chetzio Vilna it's Chatzi Chatzi Lach Chatzi Yavish Afra Bikiba Moide. So that it seems to be that he means to say that it's a difficult line, I should say, but what I have in the side Gemara is that half moist and half dry, it's all considered to be one min. And Rabbi Kiva concedes that it's a payah on one pay on all of it. The Kavanaki explains that it's not a type of grain, a half moist, half dry grain, but one half a field he found moist, and half field on one side is moist, half field on the other side is dry, and you give one payah on all of it. It really is a little bit mechusar beer. Why should it be that way? What's the machine this and what we said previously? Why should the fact that it's half a field make a difference? It should still be one. It should still be two separate minim. So the way the Gra learns the sugya, it's like this. It's a raya that that although shuk and goren are considered to be two minim, lach and yavish are not considered to be two minim. So despite the fact that we said that above, Rechia b'shem Yochanan said, "Amego shittas Rechiva k'mada kimer lach v'yavish shnei beinim heim, kimer lach v'yavish shei minim heim." No, that's not. We say that's not the case. Um, and according to this, when Rabbi Yossi says in the previous line, "Amrei says shmina shuk v'goren shtei minim heim, lach v'yavish shtei minim heim," so now it brings a riot that's bitmiyah. And not to say they're not two minim, and now he brings a raya because chatzi lach v'chatzi yavish af Rabbi Akiva moida. If it's in other words, if you have a field which is half moist and half dry, if you harvest it at one time, even Rabbi Akiva concedes you only give one payah on all of it together. So therefore, we see clearly that Chatzi Lach and Chatzi Lach Yavish are one min, two minim, and they're not like Goren V'Shuk by onions, which is considered to be two minim. The next word, where it says V'hot Ninon, the Gra and Ridbaz both take this out. Ridbaz says here, I more that Kavanaki explains the same way without taking out the word, but let's see Ridbaz Vadina. Both the Chachamim Akiva Tevas Utninon, Vadina Mocha Gra Zab Ksav Yod Kadsho Yerushalmi Tachas Yodi. He raised from the Yerushalmi, which Ridbaz had from the Gra. The Zohar Scholar, it's a new thing. And it's not a continuation, it's a new thing. Kind of Masnisin, it's going to Mishnah. The Mon Kiva Bezorea Sheves or Chardal B'Shloshim Mekaymas. So when you plant Sheves or Chardal in three places, then and this is the way to read the Mishnah. Okay, so let's see it inside. Mon Kiva Bezorea Sheves or Chardal B'Shloshim Mekaymas. Pini Masnisin. Sheves B'Shloshim Mekaymas. Chardal B'Shloshim Mekaymas. Explains the Ridbaz. Peirush to low tema the high shloshim komas kai rak amad samach al. Don't say it's only going on the mustard, which the statements juxtapose. Zaino, it's not true. The kai kolamas nisin. It's also going on the other things in the Mishnah, meaning specifically sheves b'shloshim komas, chayda b'shloshim komas. They both have the same halacha. We really should look up how to translate sheves. I think it's. So Sheves is dill. Anithim graviolins. Okay, so the evidently dill and mustard are, I don't know, the same family. That was in the celery family. I don't think mustard is in the celery family. Let's see. It is uh, the cabbage family. Whatever the case may be, the mustard and dill have, which in modern Hebrew is called shamir, have the same parameters. And that's what the Kinyan Masis is going to tell us, that they both have the halacha of the uh, which we said in the Mishnah, of the three different places, which we said is okay. Says the Gemara further. Uh, Shmuel said, why is this? It's because the first area where it's planted doesn't wait for the last one. In other words, they have different harvesting times. Because they're normally planted in separate patches. The Gillian Shah says, Arugos, he brings on the Rambam, who says that by Shevis L'chai, the reason is because they are made to plant in small fields, so those ketanos. Which I guess that's the idea. In other words, by definition, not necessarily means, it doesn't necessarily mean that they're separate patches in a large field, but etzim, they're planted patches, so therefore each patch is disconnected from the other one. That's their maybe no, never mind. Al daite the Shmuel mafish kol kelach vekelach. According to Shmuel, you can actually take from each stalk independently because they all mature at different times. Al daite Rabbi Yehuda, and that's according to Shmuel the barometer of how he measured this. Al daite Rabbi Yehuda mafish kol aruga aruga. You should be able to take from each aruga, even though they mature at different times, because the issue is not when they mature, but where the fact that they're normally planted in these various different small fields or arugos, as we said. The Kavanaki elaborates on Shmuel, based on the Gra, that according if you it's interesting enough. It says what happens if you planted specific individual stalks in several different places in the field? Of course, well, you have to compare on each and every stalk because in this case, because they mature at different rates, and therefore each stalk is like a field unto itself. Rabbi Yochanan, they're not going to be separate until they're in patches. And when they're in patches, since the derech was to plant them in patches, so therefore they're separate. And you have to compare from each and every patch. But when you plant individual stalks, so therefore it's not considered to be a field. It's not, and it's actually mitzaref with the other stalks in the field in order to be called even a patch, and therefore you can compare from all of them together. Says the Mishnah, halacha base. Makhleb b'tzayin lachim lakut shuk is what we just had. Somebody who takes off he gathers the ones which are moist and leave in order to bring the marketplace, and leaves those which are dry in order to put in a silo. No same pair elats and elats. You can pair for each these and those individually. But came by furim, the same is true by peas. But came also by vineyard. Hamedo no semin amashur. The famous is hamedo miloshin dildul. For something who sends out. Shabbatzalim zurim zrutufim arbe, when the onions planted very close together. Noitel echol shnayim, take one or two of them. Kadeshin Yerushalmi is godly bereva, so those remain should grow expansively. Yasu kasim, they become thick. Zenikra meidel. That's called meidel. He brings evidence that that's what it means. And then he says, no semin ashur mashashir. He gives those from the yes and those which are left on those which are left. But those which she uprooted in order to give space to the others, they're not chayiv and peah because they that's not considered to be derek katsira if he's trying just to make room. As it says here, I made on this Meshur Mamashashir. V'machlik me'achas yad nosim Meshur Akol. But somebody who's machli from me'achas yad says the Pnei Moshe Klomar Kulo Meinyan Echad. They're all being harvested for the same person. O Kulo Goran, O Kulo Shuk, or all for the silo, or for the marketplace. From one place. It took it from one side and sold to the marketplace. Not little by little, mikan lekan, not from here and from here, little by little. Yitain pay min shar al hakol. You will pay for whatever's left at the end. So now it says the Gemara, Tani hamirug, whatever mirug is, and it's going to be a machlokas tomorrow's Talmud, but here the Mefarshim say that it means that a language of plucking. What plucking it is, we'll see. But it's a plucking type of activity, and it seems to be very similar to Maidon. In fact, halacha is the same. Chayiv is chayiv sofo. You have to when you pluck at the beginning, you're chayiv. If you're doing plucking like something similar to lashuk, and you're chayiv at the end for the other part of the plucking. So plucking, same thing as Maidon. What is though miruk? That is the issue of we're going to see here. So we'll get into more tomorrow, but it's machlokas. What's miruk? I'm right. Like that which learn hamachli b'tzalim lachim b'shukim b'kayim b'veishim gorim. Seems that it's the same thing as the it is the machli b'tzalim lachim b'kayim b'veishim gorim, but that's obviously the first line of the Mishnah, so you can't mean it literally. And Rabbi Yossi says, well, then kitzcha, it's kitzcha, which is the onion seed. Which when you plant, you get thin onions. When you plant the bulb of a batzor rav, it makes big onions. So obviously, according to Rabbi Yossi, it's two different types of onions. Two ways in which you plant onions. So again, we'll come back tomorrow to what the machlokas Rabbi and Rabbi Yossi is. We'll leave it for today because there's already Kaf Chesamah.